Today we are on part 2 of graphing systems. So let's look at our first example. 3x minus 2y equals 6 and x plus y equals 2. Let me review that you can actually graph using a t-table or by solving for y first and then using slope and y-intercept. For me, I think slope and y-intercept is the easiest. However, if you like using t-tables, you may use that as well. Step 1 today. Step 1 is going to be solving all of our equations for y. So before we graph them, before we find the slope and y-intercept, we have to first solve the equations for y. So I'm going to take our first equation. 3x minus 2y equals 6. Solving for y, if you recall, is getting the y by itself. So the first thing I have to do is move our 3x term by subtracting 3x on both sides. That gives me negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. Now you've done this before. Now I divide everything by negative 2. You have to divide everything by negative 2. And my equation would be y equals negative 3 divided by negative 2 is positive 3 halves x. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So that means my m is 3 halves. And since it's positive, we're going uphill. And my b, which is where it crosses the y-axis, is negative 3. So let's now solve our second equation. Our second equation is x plus y equals 2. Well, the only thing I need to move is my x, so I subtract x on both sides, and I get y equals negative x plus 2. My m is negative 1, or negative 1 over 1, and my y-intercept, my b, is 2. So I'm going to be using this equation here and this equation here to graph. So let's graph. So I have my graph. In my first equation, we're going to start at the y-intercept at negative 3. So 1, 2, and negative 3. My slope is positive 3 over 2, so that means we have a rise of 3, a run of 2. So that means I go up 2, 1, 2, up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2, 1, 2. So up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. And I'm just going to do it one more time, up 3 over 2. Using your ruler or straight edge, which I cannot do on my iPad, but using your ruler or straight edge, please connect it as clear as you can here, as straight as you can. And there's our line. Our line is y equals 3 halves x minus 3. Now we take our second equation. Our second equation, our y-intercept is 2. Our slope is negative 1, so that's going to be negative 1, there's a rise, a run of 1, so negative 1 over 1. That means I go downhill over 1. Downhill over 1. I connect my lines, and therefore my answer would be 2, 0. So today the only thing different that you are doing is you are first solving your equations for y. Solving your equations for y. Example number 2. X plus 3y equals 6 and x minus 3y equals 6. Step 1, solving both equations for y. So I'm going to take my first equation, x plus 3y equals 6. I'm going to subtract the x on both sides. That will give me 3y equals negative x plus 6. Remember, we are solving for y, so we can get the equation in slope-intercept form. I now divide everything by 3. That would give me y equals, there's a 1 in front of that x, so that means I have negative 1/3 x plus 2. We know our line is going to be going downhill, and it's going to cross the y-intercept or y-axis and an intercept of 2. Let's solve the second equation. X minus 3y equals 6. I subtract 6. Negative 3y equals negative x plus 6. Divide by negative 3. That gives me y equals positive 1/3, because a negative 1 divided by negative 3 is positive 1/3, x minus 2. So now let's graph this. So we take our first equation, which has a slope of negative 1/3, which means it goes downhill, and it crosses at our y-intercept of 2. So it crosses at 2, so we put it out at 2. The slope is negative 1/3, so we go down 1/3, down 1/3. The second equation has a slope of positive 1/3, therefore we're going to go uphill, and it crosses the y-intercept, the y-axis, at an intercept of negative 2. So we have negative 2, up 1/3, up 1/3, and therefore it crosses at 6, 0. And that's it.